The sun hung low in the sky, casting an unyielding glow over the vast expanse of the Mojave Desert. The landscape stretched endlessly, a canvas of golden sands punctuated by rocky outcrops and tufts of resilient desert scrub. Cracked earth sprawled beneath the glaring light, creating a tapestry of parched crevices that whispered tales of drought and survival. Heat waves shimmered in the distance, distorting the horizon and fostering an almost dreamlike quality to the scene. Yet, for all its stunning beauty, the desert harbored treachery beneath its shimmering surface. This was not just a land of desolation, it was alive with secrets waiting to be uncovered or to ensnare the unwary. Each gust of wind carried with it whispers of danger, hinting at unseen forces lurking within the dunes. The tranquility was deceptive, a fragile veneer disguising nature's raw power. In this harsh environment, one could quickly lose their way, guided only by landmarks that shifted like mirages under the blistering sun. The air felt heavy with urgency as dense silence enveloped the surrounding space. Even the relentless sun seemed to hold its breath, waiting for something, a sign or movement, to disrupt its reign. As our team made their way deeper into this arid wilderness, they found themselves drawn not just to its daunting beauty but also to a particular intrigue, a sinkhole that had mysteriously appeared amidst such desolation. Curiosity lit their eyes, each step taken with a mix of awe and caution as they approached this anomaly, an invitation from the desert itself, offering a glimpse into its hidden heart while simultaneously warning them of unforeseen perils. They could feel it, a palpable tension in the air that hinted at adventure, or perhaps something darker lying just beneath the sand. As the sun began its slow descent, casting long shadows across the desert floor, the team of geologists gathered at their makeshift campsite, buzzing with excitement and anticipation. Composed of 5 dedicated scientists, they each brought their unique expertise to the expedition. Dr. Emily Hartman, the leader and a seasoned geologist renowned for her fieldwork in arid environments, was eager to investigate the sinkhole that had piqued their interest. Beside her stood Marcus, a rough-hewn expert in soil mechanics whose rugged demeanor belied an astute, analytical mind. Known for his pragmatism, he often acted as a stabilizing force within the group. Then there was Jenna, a bright-eyed graduate student who specialized in hydrology. Her enthusiasm added a youthful energy to the team as she eagerly jotted down notes about the desert's environment. Liam and Raj rounded out the group. Liam, a quiet but meticulous cartographer skilled in mapping uncharted territories, and Raj, an eccentric biologist fascinated by extreme ecosystems. Together, they formed a tight-knit unit committed to unraveling the mysteries of this sudden geological phenomenon. The rumors of the sinkhole had stirred intrigue among them. Local reports suggested that it appeared without warning, as if summoned by some ancient force. As they set out towards its location, an electric thrill hung in the air, a mix of anticipation and trepidation fueling their collective curiosity. Arriving at the sinkhole's edge was surreal. The gaping opening yawned before them like an abyss, lines of cracked earth framing its depths as if nature herself had orchestrated the spectacle. Each member felt an unspoken agreement resonating among them. This was not just another survey, they were standing on the precipice of discovery and perhaps peril as they prepared to delve into its depths and unveil whatever lay hidden below. As the team gathered around a flickering campfire, the atmosphere crackled with a mix of camaraderie and unease. Dr. Emily Hartman, always composed and authoritative, tried to instill focus in her team, but the dynamics among them were as varied as the desert landscape itself. Marcus, ever the pragmatist, leaned back against a rock, arms crossed in contemplation. His rugged exterior often masked a deep analytical mind, but the other team members had learned to appreciate his steady presence. Whenever tensions mounted, he was quick to diffuse them with a quiet word or practical insight. Although he sometimes clashed with Jenna's youthful exuberance, who often suggested bold approaches without considering all consequences, his seasoned perspective often tempered her enthusiasm. Jenna, bubbling with excitement, thrived on discovery and was determined to make her mark on the team. Her vivacity was infectious, drawing smiles from her more reserved companions. Yet, beneath her bright demeanor lay an aspiring scientist eager to prove herself in a male-dominated field. She keenly felt the pressure to deliver results that matched her ambition. Liam contributed a steadying balance with his meticulous nature. He constantly documented their findings while shielding himself from confrontation by focusing on his maps and data collection. Raj added another layer to their dynamic with his eccentricities. The quirky biologist brought laughter and curiosity into serious discussions, yet occasionally triggered skepticism from Marcus about the practicality of his ideas. As they prepared for their survey, unspoken tensions simmered beneath friendly banter. Whispers of jealousy and competition lingered just below the surface. But there was also an undeniable bond formed through shared aspirations and experiences. The desert might test them individually, but it also promised moments that would forge lasting connections among this eclectic group of scientists as they prepared to face whatever lay ahead at the sinkhole's edge. As dawn broke, the team gathered their gear in preparation for the day's mission, a mixture of excitement and trepidation coursing through them. Dr. Emily Hartman laid out their equipment: ground-penetrating radar for subsurface imaging, soil sampling kits, and measuring tools to assess the sinkhole's depth and width. The challenge of surveying such a vast and harsh environment weighed on them, but the allure of discovery propelled their efforts. Once they arrived at the sinkhole's edge, the sight was both awe-inspiring and intimidating. The gaping maw seemed to pulse with mystery as the engineers set up their instruments with meticulous care. Marcus took charge of the ground-penetrating radar, calibrating it while Jenna prepared to take soil samples from the rim's precarious edge. The stark contrast of their scientific tools against the rugged desert backdrop underscored both their vulnerability and determination. As they worked, the intense heat began to take its toll. Sweat trickled down their brows as the sun climbed higher, its rays turning the sand into a shimmering sea of light, making it difficult to focus. Liam continuously documented every aspect of their measurements, ensuring no detail was overlooked while battling dehydration and exhaustion. He reminded Jenna to hydrate frequently, nurturing a balance between enthusiasm and caution amid soaring temperatures. Raj undertook an ecological assessment of the area surrounding the sinkhole, making notes on vegetation that had adapted to survive in such arid conditions. His whimsical observations about how certain plants seemed to thrive near potential danger lightened their spirits but also drew Marcus' skeptical glance. Every bit of data was crucial in understanding this geological anomaly. Despite their meticulous planning, nature proved unpredictable. Wind whipped through the desert, stirring up dust clouds that obscured visibility and challenged their ability to communicate effectively. Frustration mounted as equipment shifted slightly in the wind. Yet, each setback served as a reminder of the desert's fierce character, a force that demanded respect while revealing secrets buried beneath its surface. Driven by shared curiosity and a commitment to uncovering the truth behind this sinkhole, they pressed on, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. As the team began their survey, they cautiously approached the edge of the sinkhole, where sheer walls of eroded rock revealed a tapestry of unusual geological formations. Stalactite-like spires and jagged outcroppings jutted from the walls, showcasing a spectrum of colors: deep reds, earthy browns, and shimmering whites, all sculpted by time and the elements. The formations seemed to whisper ancient tales, stirring within the geologists a mix of excitement and apprehension about what lay below. Dr. Emily Hartman leaned closer, her eyes narrowed in curiosity. "Look at those formations," she said, pointing towards an irregular cluster of crystalline structures that sparkled in the sunlight. "They appear to be mineral deposits, potentially gypsum or halite. We need to collect samples." Jenna, practically bouncing on her heels with eagerness, grabbed her kit and began documenting every detail. As they worked, Raj noticed peculiar carvings etched into some rock faces, unusual markings that seemed too deliberate to be mere natural occurrences. What if these are signs left by ancient cultures, he mused, his voice tinged with wonder. Marcus shrugged off the idea but couldn't help but scan the walls for further anomalies as he set up the ground-penetrating radar. The deeper they explored the sinkhole's vertical expanse, the more strange phenomena emerged. They spotted tiny fissures releasing faint wisps of steam, a concerning sign that suggested geothermal activity beneath them. Liam took meticulous notes, his brow furrowed in concentration as he conveyed both fascination and worry about potential hazards. "Do you think this could lead to something dangerous? Like a magma chamber?" Jenna asked with wide eyes. "Let's not jump to conclusions just yet," Marcus replied, though a hint of concern lingered in his tone. "We need to gather more data before we speculate." Despite their precautions, an undercurrent of dread washed over them as they considered both the sinkhole's beauty and its potential threats. Each discovery deepened their curiosity but also heightened their awareness of the unknown forces lurking within, forces that could change everything about their exploration in an instant. As the team delved deeper into their examination of the sinkhole, they could not escape the shadow of local legends, especially the one surrounding the elusive Sand Wyrm. A mythical creature said to slumber beneath the shifting sands of the Mojave Desert. According to local folklore, this colossal Wyrm was not merely a beast but a guardian of ancient treasures hidden deep within the earth. Its very presence was believed to influence the geology of the land, causing sudden sinkholes and erratic formations as it stirred from its resting place. In hushed tones that blended with the rustling wind, Jenna shared an old story she had come across during her research. They say the Sand Wyrm watches over those who respect the desert but punishes those who seek to exploit its secrets, she explained, her eyes wide with fascination. The legends mentioned how treasure hunters would disappear without a trace when they dared to invade its territory. Marcus, with a skeptical raise of an eyebrow, dismissed the tale as mere superstition. He preferred empirical evidence over ghost stories. Let's focus on real geological data, he sighed, though he couldn't help but feel a twinge of unease. Raj chimed in, excitement lacing his voice. But what if there's some truth to it? The markings we found, what if they're warnings or messages from those who faced the Wyrm's wrath? The debate about folklore shifted as eerie shadows played across the rock faces surrounding them and an unsettling silence draped over their surroundings. Each member felt an invisible weight pressing upon them, a reminder that beneath their scientific exploration lay centuries of untouched myth that could not be ignored. As they worked tirelessly to extract samples and data from the sinkhole's depths, uneasiness lingered like a specter at their backs. The team was aware that their curiosity might invoke more than just geological mysteries. They could inadvertently awaken forces rooted deeply within this ancient desert legacy, the very essence of what made this land both captivating and perilous. Whether fact or fiction, the legend of the Sand Wyrm loomed large in their minds, subtly transforming their exploration into something much more profound and fraught with uncertainty. As the hours passed and the sun dipped lower in the sky, the atmosphere around the sinkhole grew thick with an unsettling tension. The light shifted, casting long shadows that danced along the rocky edges, and an eerie silence descended upon the team. It was then that strange occurrences began to unfold, igniting a sense of foreboding. Soft tremors rippled through the ground beneath their feet, accompanied by a faint whispering sound carried on the wind, a noise indistinguishable from distant voices but laced with an ominous tone. Jenna turned to Marcus, her brow furrowed in worry. "Did you feel that?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Without waiting for a response, they all felt another pulse, more pronounced this time, as if something deep below was stirring. The sands shifted subtly around them, creating small swirls that momentarily obscured their view of the surrounding terrain. Raj squinted into the swirling dust with unease as fleeting shapes seemed to form and fade just beyond his peripheral vision. "Maybe it's just heat mirages," he suggested, though even he could hear uncertainty in his tone. Liam kept his eyes glued to his notes but felt a knot tightening in his stomach as he noted the growing tension among the team. Then came a low rumble that vibrated through their bones. Was it thunder or something else? Dr. Hartman's focus sharpened. She instructed everyone to gather near her while she attempted to calibrate the radar one more time. Just as they settled closer together, a sudden gust of wind swept through the area with startling ferocity, sending small pebbles flying like shrapnel and catching everyone off guard. Jenna gasped as she instinctively shielded her face and caught Marcus's eye. For a moment, they shared an unspoken recognition of fear. In that instant, doubt surfaced. Had they inadvertently disturbed something ancient? Were they trespassing upon realms best left undisturbed? A chilling realization crept into each mind. The Sand Wyrm legend had been merely folklore until now. Now it seemed as if something truly omnipotent stirred beneath them, watching and waiting. As shadows lengthened and night approached, ominous feelings enveloped the group like a blanket, signaling that their discovery was only just beginning and danger was closer than they could imagine. As the team continued their investigation, a sense of unease settled over them like a heavy blanket. They were deep into their work when Jenna suddenly exclaimed, "Where's the soil sampler?" The group turned to her, confusion etched on their faces. Just moments ago, it had been resting on the table beside their equipment. A quick search ensued, with each member retracing their steps in frantic haste. Marcus, who had been calibrating the ground-penetrating radar, looked around in disbelief. "It was right here. I swear I just saw it." His voice rose with frustration as they rummaged through bags and packs that had been meticulously organized just hours earlier. Then Raj noticed something even more alarming. "Guys, my backpack is missing." Panic rippled through the group as they realized that not just one but several items had vanished: Liam's notebook, Dr. Hartman's portable battery pack, and even a crucial set of measurement tools. Each disappearance added to the mounting tension. Murmurs began to spread as speculation ran rampant. Could someone be playing a prank? Jenna suggested nervously, but her laughter was hollow. The desert felt too oppressive for jokes now. Shadows loomed larger as night began to settle in. Just then, another tremor shook the ground beneath their feet, a reminder of the ancient forces they might have angered. Liam felt his stomach drop. He could almost hear the whispers again, this time laced with mockery. They were being watched. "Let's stick together," Dr. Hartman commanded, trying to maintain control over the growing chaos. They formed a tight circle around what remained of their gear, eyes darting towards every shifting shadow and rustling sound in the desert night. Every rustle of sand prompted a jolt of anxiety as they scanned the area for any sign of movement. Frustration morphed into fear. It became increasingly clear that this wasn't just misplacement, it felt deliberate. A chilling thought gripped them: were they truly trespassing on sacred ground? As the darkness deepened and visibility faded, so did their sense of safety. Their expedition was beginning to unravel under an unseen threat that seemed all too real. The atmosphere crackled with palpable tension as the team huddled together, eyes scanning the shifting sands that surrounded them. Suddenly, the ground began to tremble violently, and a deep, resonant growl echoed from the depths of the sinkhole, reverberating through their very bones. The earth seemed to part before them, and in a sudden flurry of sand and debris, the Sand Wyrm emerged. It was colossal, its scales glistening with iridescent hues that flickered like sunlight on water. The once still surface transformed into chaos as the enormous creature coiled and twisted, its massive body effortlessly swallowing everything in its path. In horror, Jenna watched as their precious ground-penetrating radar was engulfed whole, swallowed by the yawning maw that opened wide like a cavernous abyss. "Run!" Dr. Hartman shouted, her voice cutting through the surreal moment as adrenaline surged through each member of the team. Panic surged as they scrambled away from the beast's chaotic emergence, equipment and supplies scattered like dry leaves in a storm. Raj felt his heart race as he grabbed Liam's arm, pulling him along while Marcus shouted frantic measurements into his radio. The ground beneath them shifted dramatically with every movement of the Wyrm. It was as if they were caught in a violent dance between nature's fury and their desperate fight for survival. The whistling winds blended with eerie roars as the creature twisted again, sending plumes of sand and rock flying toward them like explosive projectiles. Jenna stumbled over her own feet but quickly regained her balance. "We have to reach higher ground," she gasped, directing them toward a rocky outcrop just beyond their scattered equipment. Yet each step felt labored, as if the very desert sought to pull them back into peril. Just when they thought an escape was possible, another tremor erupted from beneath, a warning shot fired in their direction. As they rushed up towards relative safety, fear flooded through them. This wasn't just natural calamity, it was as though the Sand Wyrm itself resented their presence here in its dominion. As they reached the outcrop and turned to look back at what had emerged from the depths below, wide-eyed terror gripped each member of the team. Not only had they unwittingly unleashed an ancient guardian, but now chaos reigned where once there had been curiosity. Danger had taken hold in ways none could have imagined. As the Sand Wyrm loomed before them, its massive form coiling and uncoiling with a menacing grace, the air crackled with tension. The team was paralyzed for a moment, caught between instinct and reason. Fear coursed through their veins, yet a sense of determination ignited within each member. Dr. Hartman's voice broke the silence like a thunderclap. "We can't just run. We need to document this." Jenna's eyes darted from the creature to her leader, fear mingling with adrenaline. "But what if it attacks us?" she protested, clenching her fists in uncertainty. "Fight or flight," Marcus murmured, instinctively shifting closer to Jenna as he struggled to grasp the situation. All around them, the desert seemed to vibrate with the energy of the Sand Wyrm, sending tremors through their feet. "If we stay here too long, we're dead anyway." Liam was already scanning their surroundings for potential escape routes. "There. The outcrop. If we can climb up there," his voice trailed off as another shudder ran through the ground, causing rocks to tumble from above. Raj, ever the dreamer but suddenly sobered by reality, nodded vigorously. "We could use that high ground. Maybe we can find a way to distract it." Dr. Hartman took a deep breath, rallying her team in that moment of crisis. "Listen. Everyone split up. If you see any equipment on the ground, grab it. We need to move." With urgency surging through them, they leapt into action. Jenna darted toward their scattered belongings while Marcus started recording video footage of the creature's movements. Liam and Raj worked together to gather loose items in a frenzy. Every second felt weighted with risk as chaos unfurled around them. The Sand Wyrm emitted a roar that resonated down to their core, its scales shimmering ominously as it lunged forward unpredictably. The team scrambled, some headed toward higher ground while others sought safety among rocks and boulders strewn about. In that frantic rush between panic and resolve, they each confronted their own fears. Would they face this legendary beast head-on, or would survival depend on fleeing into the dark? As adrenaline fueled their actions and instincts rose in response to danger, one undeniable truth loomed large. Their expedition had transformed from scientific inquiry into a desperate fight for survival against an ancient guardian awakened from slumber. The moment the Sand Wyrm lunged forward, chaos erupted in the desert. Dr. Hartman hollered for everyone to move, and without looking back, the team sprinted across the rugged terrain, their hearts pounding in sync with the earth-shaking roars of the creature behind them. The ground trembled beneath their feet, each powerful undulation threatening to send them sprawling into the sand. Jenna led the charge, her legs pumping furiously as she navigated through jagged rocks and thorny shrubs that threatened to snag her clothes. "Over there," she shouted, pointing toward a narrow crevice between two towering rock formations, hoping it would provide some cover from the Wyrm's line of sight. Marcus lagged slightly behind, glancing over his shoulder just in time to see the massive form of the Wyrm break free from its plume of dust. The beast's scales shimmered like polished gems under the fading sunlight, and its eyes glowed with an intelligence that sent chills down his spine. "Keep moving," he urged Liam, who was struggling to stay on his feet. The path became increasingly treacherous, loose stones skittered away as they darted forward. Raj stumbled but quickly regained his balance, scrambling up a rocky incline as panic surged through him. "We can't let it catch us," he gasped. As they pressed on, strange sounds filled their ears, an unsettling mixture of hissing and rustling that hinted at the Wyrm's relentless pursuit. A shadow loomed closer with every frantic step they took. Heart racing and lungs burning, they bounded towards safety when suddenly another violent tremor shook the ground beneath them, tossing Jenna off her feet. "Help!" she cried out as she struggled to regain her footing while the others rushed back to assist her. Just then, a gust of wind swept by, laden with sand and debris that stung their exposed skin. "Go! We need to get to that ridge." Dr. Hartman shouted again, fear etched across her face as she rallied them toward a higher elevation where they might find refuge or at least a vantage point against their attacker. With renewed urgency spurred by desperation, they pushed onward with determination forged from fear and adrenaline. Each member felt the weight of their choices. Would they confront this creature or seek solace in flight? As they climbed higher and further away from danger, or so they hoped, they could hear the Wyrm's angry growl echoing through the canyon as if vowing not to let them escape so easily. As the dust settled and the team finally reached the rocky outcrop, panting and wide-eyed with fear, a moment of uneasy quiet enveloped them. They huddled together, hearts racing as they caught their breath, adrenaline still surging through their veins. The immediate danger may have receded, but the weight of what they had just experienced began to sink in. Dr. Hartman was the first to break the silence. "We need to regroup and assess our situation," she said, her voice steady despite the tremors still echoing in her chest. "Everyone okay?" Jenna nodded, though her eyes glistened with unshed tears. "I thought we were done for," she admitted, her voice trembling as she processed the chaos they'd just escaped. Marcus placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "We made it," he said softly. "That's what matters." Liam, still reeling from the encounter, gazed out across the jagged landscape that now felt like uncharted territory. "What if it comes back?" he pondered aloud, grappling with his own fears about confronting such a powerful force again. Raj took a deep breath, glancing from one team member to another with newfound camaraderie. "It's like we've crossed a threshold," he said thoughtfully. "We can't look at this desert the same way anymore." His words resonated within each of them. They had ventured into something far beyond their original scientific inquiry and emerged together, changed by their ordeal. In that moment of reflection amidst turmoil and uncertainty, they shared tentative smiles and brief chuckles as tension ebbed slightly. They recognized not only their own resilience but also how interwoven their fates had become in facing this legendary creature together. The experience bonded them in ways that transcended professional boundaries. "Let's keep moving while we have daylight," Dr. Hartman suggested firmly as she glanced at the horizon tinted in shades of orange and purple, the sun beginning its descent once more. Each member felt a fierceness rising within them. Together they could face whatever else lay ahead in this ancient land. With spirits bolstered by determination forged in fear and gratitude for one another's presence, they steeled themselves for what was yet to come. An adventure that was no longer solely about exploration but also about survival against an unpredictable force of nature that would forever linger at the edges of their minds. As dawn broke over the Mojave Desert, a golden light washed across the rugged landscape, illuminating the remnants of last night's chaos. The exhausted team emerged from their rocky refuge, each member bearing the weight of their harrowing encounter with the Sand Wyrm. The vast desert before them now felt both familiar and alien, its mysteries deepened by their shared experience. Dr. Hartman looked out over the horizon, her mind racing with thoughts of what lay beneath the sands they had so carelessly explored. "We witnessed something extraordinary," she said, her voice steady as she addressed the group. The legends we once treated as mere stories have taken on new meaning. Jenna, still feeling the adrenaline of their escape, nodded in agreement. It felt like we were intruding on something that was never meant to be disturbed, she added, glancing back toward where they had first encountered the Wyrm. But it also felt like a warning. There are forces here we don't yet understand. Liam felt a surge of curiosity mixed with fear. What if there are more creatures like it? He pondered aloud, contemplating the vastness of the uncharted desert around them. This place could hold secrets that could redefine everything we think we know about geology and mythology. Raj, ever-spirited despite their ordeal, interrupted with excitement. Imagine if we could learn from this. What if we could uncover more legends and unearth truths hidden beneath the surface? We could write a whole new chapter in science. As they took tentative steps forward, their hearts filled with awe at the majestic beauty surrounding them. Yet it wasn't just about the destination anymore, it was about understanding and respecting the land that had revealed itself in such a raw and powerful way. Together, they forged ahead into the unknown, united not only by their shared fear but by a newfound appreciation for the legends that shaped this desert. Their expedition had transformed into a journey of discovery, one that would embrace both science and myth as they sought to uncover the mysteries still buried beneath the golden sands. With every step, they felt the pulse of the ancient desert beneath their feet, reminding them that some encounters are woven into the very fabric of existence and should be approached with reverence and wonder.